Today we are working Psalm 56. Some traditional magical uses for Psalm 56 include to cast away any evil plots, to reverse any hex or curse, to overcome any temptation to cause harm to another, and to end spirit possession. And today I would like to use Psalm 56 for fearless protection and for trusting your divine path. So if you're feeling unprotected or even paranoid, this is a great psalm to come to claim your protection and to know that you have a perfect path. The way we work psalm magic is simple, easy, and effective. We take our psalm and we speak it out loud all the way through once without stopping. This is called an incantation. When we've finished with that, we go back through the psalm and we consider each verse one at a time. We search for hidden, sometimes called occult meanings in each verse. We see these as magical seeds. By searching, considering, and then applying what we find to the issue that we brought to the psalm, we are dislodging those exact seeds that we need for our spell right out of the psalm and planting those seeds deeply in our mind, where they take root, they grow, they blossom forth, and they bear fruit after their kind. And that is precisely what you and I are going to do together right now with Psalm 56. Be merciful unto me, O God, for man would swallow me up, he fighting daily who oppresseth me. Mine enemies would daily swallow me up, for they be many that fight against me, O thou Most High. What time I am afraid, I will trust in thee. In God I will praise his word. In God I have put my trust. I will fear not what flesh can do unto me. Every day they wrest my words. All their thoughts are against me for evil. They gather themselves together. They hide themselves. They mark my steps when they wait for my soul. Shall they escape by iniquity? In thine anger cast down upon the people, O God. Thou tellest my wanderings. Put thou my tears into thy bottle. Are they not in thy book? When I cry unto thee, then shall mine enemies turn back. This I know, for God is for me. In God will I praise his word. In the Lord will I praise his word. In God have I put my trust. I will not be afraid what man can do unto me. Thy vows are upon me, O God. I will render praises unto thee. For thou hast delivered my soul from death. Wilt not thou deliver my feet from falling, that I may walk before God in the light of the living? Psalm 56 is set during an important pivotal moment in the life of King David within the narrative of this story in the Bible. It's tied to a time when he was captured by the Philistines in a land called Gath. At this point in the story, David was fleeing from King Saul, who was after him, wanted to kill him out of jealousy. And he was afraid of David's growing popularity and his favor with God. David was a fugitive, and he was constantly on the run and facing danger. Gath was the hometown of Goliath, the giant that he had defeated before. And the Philistines recognized him immediately, saw him as an enemy, and captured him. And this psalm is reflective of that point in the story where he has inner turmoil and pleads for divine mercy and protection, reaffirming his faith. Now, why this is important is because if you're in a place in your life where you feel like you need protection, you can put yourself in that role as we're doing this psalm magic. So it starts out with, Be merciful unto me, O God, for man would swallow me up. He fighting daily oppresseth me. God is a representation of the Hebrew word Elohim. That's how they've translated it. So in the Bible where it says Elohim, the King James Version says God. Elohim is the collective, the host of heaven. And for psalm magicians, Elohim, just like the Tetragrammaton, is a symbol for the one power, the one force, the one source, the one substance in all the universe. There is but one, and since there is only one, nothing can oppose it. Anyone this force is for, nothing can be against, and this force is for you. This force is for all of us because we are extensions of this force, and this force extends us out of love. When it says, "Be merciful unto me, O God, for man would swallow me up," mercy in the Psalms means the manifestation of your spell or the answer to your prayer. So, "Be merciful unto me, O God, for man would swallow me up. He fighting daily oppresseth me." You're feeling oppressed, you're feeling vulnerable, you're feeling like you're not safe. Understanding how magic works, you go to the source. You protect yourself through asking for the protection from the one source that nothing can go up against. "Mine enemies would daily swallow me up, for they be many that fight against me, O thou Most High." Now, Most High is one of the names of the infinite. It's one of the many, many names of the infinite. It's a reiteration that there is but one. Nothing but this force exists. And since there is nothing but this force, anything that is not the will of this force only can exist within the realm of a hallucination or a nightmare. So all of these problems that we're afraid of, all of this fear that we have on the grand cosmic scheme of things are not happening. Now, that doesn't mean that they're not happening in this dream, in this nightmare that we're experiencing. But we have to understand that in God's world, they aren't happening. And we want God's world to be in charge. And that's what we're asking for. Please let your will be done so that only your truth exists and everything that's not like your truth evaporates. "What time I am afraid, I will trust in thee." So whenever I'm afraid, that's a cue that I need to call upon the infinite. We don't want to sit and think about how bad it is and how afraid we are. Instead, the instant that we notice that we're afraid, that is a signal that it's time for us to pivot and turn toward the infinite, because that's the answer. We can't come up with the answer ourselves because we are the dreamers of the nightmare. So we are asking for the force of the universe that is only understanding of the truth, is awake and does not believe in this nightmare. Lift us out of this nightmare, that its will be done. "In God I will praise his word. In God I have put my trust. I will not fear what flesh can do unto me." Flesh in this sense means this nightmare. I'm not afraid of what the forces of this nightmare can do to me because they don't exist, ultimately. I can't undo the illusions of the nightmare because I'm the dreamer of the nightmare. I need a force of consciousness that exists outside of this dream to pull me out of it, and that's what the infinite is. So it says, "In God I will praise his word. In God I have put my trust. I will not fear what flesh can do unto me." What we're discovering is that when we're in fear and we are in a place where we feel like we are vulnerable and being attacked, the first thing we need to do is praise the Word of God. The Word of God simply means the will of the infinite. Praising simply means to acknowledge enthusiastically that something's good. So when we are praising the Word of God, we are saying it is good that the will of the infinite is that I be free. It is good that it is the will of the infinite that I be happy. It is good that the will of the infinite is that I be safe. And then it says, "In God I have put my trust." Of course, you trust the part of the universe that is sane, not the part of the universe that is concocting the nightmare. So we are asking for that sane power that is the one power, the one force, the one source in all the universe to have precedence here. We are granting it right of way, and we're not going to try to fix this ourselves. "Every day they wrest my words. All their thoughts are against me for evil." So in this experience that you're having, whether it's people, whether it's your own intrusive thoughts, whatever's going on, you feel victimized. You feel unsafe. And it is absolutely necessary that we give voice to those fears, those experiences, those feelings, and that we tell the infinite what we're going through. Because what that does for us is it takes the charge off of them. We're no longer keeping it secret. In other words, giving it power. We are deflating the power of what we're going through by telling the infinite what it is that we're experiencing. And that way the infinite can say, yes, but that's not my will. Now that you've given me permission to enter your dream and to change things, my will is done. "They gather themselves together, they hide themselves, they mark my steps when they wait for my soul." This is the ego, pure and simple, that part of the mind that is so self-destructive, that is so hell-bent on you being separate from the infinite, that you not find connection with the infinite, that you are not happy, that you are not healthy, and that you are not free. Gathering itself together, hiding itself, being sly and cunning, and marking your steps, waiting for just the right time to pounce, putting things together for you either in your mind or in your experience that proves to you that you're not safe, there is no God, you're all alone, you're vulnerable, nothing can really save you or protect you. It's important, like I said before, to bring this up and to tell the infinite, this is what I'm experiencing and this is what I'm understanding. Shall they escape by iniquity? In thine anger cast down the people, O God. The ego is not going to be able to escape its iniquity because the ego doesn't exist. The ego's iniquity is all made up. It's a bunch of lies. It's a phantasm that we've gotten into the habit of believing in and using our minds in that way. This is the nature of this nightmare, is that it's self-perpetuating. So the ego doesn't exist as a real entity because it's simply your own thinking that you've learned how to use against yourself. It can't escape because ultimately that's not the will of the infinite. And it can take a long time. You can stay mired in these nightmares and dreams for lifetime after lifetime. But when you decide you don't want to and you decide that you want the infinite's will instead of that, the jig is up. It's over. And they can't escape their iniquity. Your ego can't escape it. Now, when it says, in thine anger cast down the people, O God, it's anger from the perspective of the ego. The infinite doesn't get angry, has no reason to be angry because the infinite knows everything's perfect because that's its will. If it even could get angry, why would it get angry at something that doesn't exist? It's not angry at the ego or the problems or the people or the behavior or whatever it is that you're trying to protect yourself from. But from the point of view of those things, it can seem like anger because when the light turns on, the darkness is destroyed. Imagine how the darkness feels about that light. If it had some sort of sentience, it would be, you're so angry. But it's not. Turning the light on, all that does is prove that the darkness wasn't there. Thou tellest my wanderings. Put thou my tears into thy bottle. Are they not in thy book? The infinite can use everything for your good. It can transform your pain. It can transform your sorrow. It can transform anything. Nothing is wasted. So even if you've had horrible experiences in this world, the infinite can use all of those to bring you into joy, to bring you into happiness, to bring you into perfection and into your inheritance, which is happiness. And that's the will of the infinite for you, is for you to be happy. And it can use all of the problems that you've had to bring you there. It can transform each and everything. So it does put your tears in a bottle because it turns those tears into joy. It turns the base metal into gold. When I cry unto thee, then shall mine enemies turn back. For this I know, for God is for me. Like we said, the infinite is for you. Whomever this force is for, nothing can be against. And this force is for you, because you are an extension of this force. Everything that this force is not for does not exist. When we allow the will of the infinite to shine through, and we no longer are using our minds to project untruths onto the screen of space, we are happy. Everything changes for the better. Things work out beautifully. So that's why when I cry unto thee, mine enemies turn back. When I turn the light on in the room, the darkness disappears, quote, turns back. In God will I praise his word. In the Lord will I praise his word. So two different ways of saying the same thing about this force, Elohim and Tetragrammaton. And so when we are taking both of the names of God, Elohim and Tetragrammaton, together in one verse, we know that this is a powerful magic spell. The word is the will of the infinite. The word of the infinite as Elohim, as the host of heaven, the word of the infinite as the Tetragrammaton, that which causes things to be, the creator. The one force, the one source, and the one substance in all the universe, in both its names here, two of the big names that the Psalms use a lot, in one verse, that will is what we praise. And to praise simply means to acknowledge that something's good. So every time you've been happy, that was the will of the infinite. Every time something's worked out for you, that was the will of the infinite. Every time you've felt love, that was the infinite. Every time you've been compassionate, that was the will of the infinite. Every time you've had anything good in your life, that's the word of God, the will of the infinite. So when you praise the things that are working for you as the will of the infinite, what you're doing is you're making room in your mind for that will to show up in its fullness. The good things that have happened in your life eked their way through your mind, even in the midst of this horrible nightmare that we're having. Imagine what happens if you completely open your mind and completely give right of way to the infinite's will. Then every good thing that you've ever experienced in this life will be a pale reflection of the good that you're experiencing now. That's why this verse is so powerful. In God will I praise His word, in the Lord will I praise His word. In God have I put my trust. I will not be afraid what man can do unto me. I put it in the past tense, a very powerful magical tool. When you put something in the past tense, it makes it so now. I have put my trust in the infinite, and because I put my trust in the infinite, I have nothing to fear. Nobody can do anything to me. You could shoot bullets at a sunbeam. What would it do to the sunbeam? Nothing. And you are as a beam of light. That's who you are. The physical world is a reflection of the invisible world. You as an invincible beam of light creates a body of invincibility in this world. But you remember your body in this world is not the real you. It's just an effect. But we want that effect to be an effect that reflects the will of the infinite, not the will of your ego. We give our body, we give our possessions, we give our money, we give our relationships, we give all of those things that we have in 3D to the will of the infinite, because we know when the will of the infinite is flowing through, everything is better. We never lose anything. All we do is gain. So that's why it's so important when we say, in God have I put my trust, I will not be afraid of what man can do unto me. Thy vows are upon me, O God. I will render praises unto thee. What are the vows of the infinite to you? What has the infinite promised you? The infinite has promised you cause and effect. Anything you want is yours as long as it's caused. Where do we cause things? In our minds. Now, if our minds are not functioning well, which no one's mind in this world is, because we are all under the spell of the ego, we are all self-destructive in nature, then we can expect effects that aren't good. But if we allow the will of the infinite, or the word of God, as it's calling it in this psalm, to take control of our mind, then that will of God can make causes happen through our minds that affect our world. So that's the vow. If you give me right of way, you will have everything good. Everything will work out for you. Everything good will happen for you. So our job is to keep turning to the infinite, to keep pivoting away from the problem and putting our attention on the infinite. The infinite will always do its side of the equation, but we have to do our side first. For thou hast delivered my soul from death. Wilt not thou deliver my feet from falling, that I may walk before God in the light of the living? And the answer to that question is, of course I will. Of course I will. Why in the world would I extend myself as you just so that you could always flail? That's not my will. This is the infinite talking. Why would I extend myself as you out of pure love if I didn't want you to be happy and didn't want you to succeed? Of course I want you to succeed. Of course I don't want you to fall. So yes, put your trust in me, put your attention on me, and let me show you. Let me guide you. Let me be there for you. And not only will you get through this, you're going to shine brightly, and all is well. So you keep coming back to the same psalm every day, once a day, till you get a sense of peace and certainty that what you're working on is working out just right. You'll get a sense that it's all working out just fine. That's a definite sign to you from your deep mind, this spell has been cast. And you just move off of it and move on to something else. Put it out of mind completely. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I so appreciate you. Until next time, blessed be.